One example that we've spoken about of one of the tools in the corporate innovation toolbox is what we would call these corporate accelerators. So there are a number of startup accelerators. You've probably heard of YCombinator. We have a number of YC alums that work at Applico. I'd say YC is probably the most well-known, and rightly so, accelerator in the world. If you go to YCombinator.com, you can see a list of all of they have 102 companies. They say we have created, or our companies that have come through our accelerator program have created over $155 billion in value. The number's probably gone down given the current situation, but nonetheless, it's very successful. I mean, look at this list of companies. These are all really top tier brands that I'm sure many of you are very familiar with, right? Twitch, that's number 21, acquired by Amazon for, just $1 billion. YC's program is pretty simple. They actually have a few different programs, but the original program is you get accepted into batches. They have like 3-month-long batches. You go out to San Francisco. Now they have multiple programs, and they have different programs based upon industry. They cut you a small check, like $25,000, $35,000. They get, I think, maybe 5 or 7% equity. And then what they do is they run you through the program to help incubate your business, help accelerate your business. And then they have a demo day where they bring in a bunch of investors, and those investors can now write you checks. The really cool thing about YC is they have a kind of handshake policy at demo day, right? If you're an investor, you go up to the company, the startup, and you come to a handshake agreement at demo day. If you don't follow through on that investment as the investor, you're not invited back to demo day, right? So there are a lot of these kinds of unwritten rules and expectations where deals get done at demo day. And there's a kind of YC valuation bump, right? So the companies, if you get into YC, you have kind of an aura around you. You are going to see that in the valuation coming out of that. It's not uncommon to see companies that are getting their seed round of investment coming out of YC program at, $10 million valuations, or higher, not uncommon at all. YC, a very successful accelerator. They have gone on to raise a continuity fund where they now invest in follow-on rounds of the companies coming out of the accelerator. Their initial fund size for this was $700 million, not a small amount of money. Now, on the other side of the spectrum is Techstars. Techstars also started as a pure play accelerator. They have had some successes as well. They have their list here of successful, top companies, SendGrid and PillPack, also acquired by Amazon, SalesLoft, ClassPass. So, also some successful companies in here. Their stats here, $26 billion in market cap as compared to YC's $150 plus billion in market cap. Okay, look, a successful accelerator nonetheless. What Techstars has also done, though, is they have launched a corporate accelerator program where they will go and partner with enterprises and roll out accelerators in partnership with the enterprise. So you can see here one with the Air Force, with Barclays, with Comcast, with Cox, and MetLife here, and so on and so forth. So these accelerators haven't seen as much success. Now, this is a newer initiative from Techstars. They haven't seen as much success as some of those startups that I listed earlier, but they have seen some success. There are some companies in here that did come out of corporate accelerators that Techstar partnered on here. This one, Chainalysis, I think raised about $50 million or so. It came out of the Barclays Accelerator and Blockchain. Degreed and Newzella. I think these companies have raised a couple $100 million in aggregate. Maybe Newzella around $150 million and Degreed maybe $50 or $70 million, if I remember correctly. These were out of the Kaplan corporate accelerator. So you have seen some success. Realty Mogul, I think, has raised maybe $50 million. That was the Microsoft accelerator. Now, these companies are paying fees to Techstars to set up these co-branded accelerators. I think the fees generally range between $1 to $3 million. I would presume annually, although the accelerator program, typically only run a few months in length. So, there's some setup and some prep and some follow-on work that also goes into it. But these companies are paying. And the idea is that these companies can help seed partnerships, help seed and bring some users and use cases to the startups that are going into these accelerators. The one caveat I would give to startups that are thinking about going into a corporate accelerator is that when you have a corporate accelerator, there's going to be a heavy emphasis on solutions that are going to help that company, right? Or initiatives that company is interested in, right? So the Barclays one is interested in blockchain, the Kaplan one and EdTech, right? So Kaplan itself, though, EdTech is a very broad thing. They're going to have certain initiatives that they're going to be more interested in, which could factor itself into which companies get accepted into the accelerator program, and to the extent that the companies are able to leverage the full benefit of that corporation of Kaplan or Barclays or et cetera, right? So you want to make sure that this is the right fit on both sides. Not that you just want to get into any accelerator as the startup. There's a lot of time here. You kind of don't. You don't really want to join multiple accelerators, so you don't want to be that company that just keeps joining a bunch of accelerators. When you join that accelerator, you want to join the right one that's really going to help move your business forward and put you in a much better position after you leave the program. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.